To be able to generate some output from this process, let's also add another operation here. We can say public void something like direct deposit. Okay, and so in this direct deposit, what we can do is we can print just print something simple. We can print employee name, get name, and then we can print the pay amount. So we can say direct deposit and employee name, and let's just move it to the next line, plus space plus pay amount. So we have some trace of these direct deposits that we will be generating during this payroll. Now we'll make it so that compute pay will makes a call into there. So we can say payroll. Well, first of all, this will be double pay amount, and it'll be a weekly salary, and we'll just return this pay amount from here. Call payroll direct deposit, and we'll just again this is the way to pass a reference to the employee object to another class, to another method in a different class, where we'll pass it. Essentially, we want to provide payroll access to the entire set of operations in our employee class, and simply we just give it a reference to us by specifying this as an instance of the employee class, and then we provide the pay amount. All right, so we need get name, so we can generate getters, so we can generate, we can say insert code, and it will be a getter for the name. So that should match this call. Okay, so now we can save everything, and it starts to shape up. We have this entire process, and let's go back to the main class and populate the list. So we need to say employees, which is an array list, add. So we're gonna need to add a new employee. And specified, so the employee class needs a name and tax ID and weekly salary. So it will be some name, tax ID, and the weekly salary, and it will be somewhere like 150,000 a year divided by 52 weeks in a year. Okay, and this will be a computation right here, so we can add this, and we can try to run our payroll for this specific employee and see what comes out as a direct deposit. Now, before I run it, I just want to make some checks. I just want to make sure that all of my data attributes are set private and my operations are public. So let's just make this check here. I thought I forgot to say private, because we will make these typical attributes private, which is fine. And now we can try running this. All right, so, and of course it prints 0 here because we never saved weekly salary by the constructor, so we need to fix this. We need to save this value, and okay, so let's try this again. And obviously every time you add something to your data attributes, just remember that you have to revisit every constructor and make sure that it does something proper with this new attribute. Okay, so this prints this ugly precision level, which we also need to eliminate. We just want to keep it to a cent precision. So let's just change this to a format, right? So in this format, we can specify format. We can say that we're going to print the string, right? And then we can use like a tab and then print %.2. And of course we will change pluses to just a list of parameters right there. And yeah, and we need a comma. I'll just use like a list of parameters like this. Okay, so let's try this now. Okay, and my format specifier of course requires an F for floating point. So let's try this. Okay, so this is fine, and now we also need to add a new line, %n right here. So it looks okay. So now we can add more employees to this list and run payroll. And so what happens is, let's actually move this to a new document tab group just to overview everything that happens here. Okay, and just want to kind of do a quick walkthrough right here, and it just keeps adding this in the wrong place. Let me see. Okay, that's what I wanted. And so let's just quickly overview what is happening. So we construct the array list object. There we add new employee, we add here. So we have this employee object that we generate right here. And we add its reference to our array list. Okay, so this is array list, this is our object. Then we also create payroll, right? So we also have an instance of the payroll class right here, and we have reference to this payroll as well right here on this line. And we get reference to this object. So then we call payroll run payroll. So we call this run payroll, and we pass a reference to employees in this array list reference. So run payroll gets access to our array list. Then for each employee we say let's loop through every employee stored there and call compute pay. So from here we call compute pay, and compute pay we pass this as a reference to payroll. So compute pay, so this is a reference to our payroll, and here payroll, this reference is duplicated when we call compute pay inside of our employee. So this payroll is pointing to this object right here. That's why we're able to call direct deposit, because we have access to payroll and we can call direct deposit. And in the direct deposit, we also pass a reference to employee object as this first parameter to direct deposit. So here, of course, this is a reference to an instance of the employee, because this is instance method inside the employee class. And here we duplicate this reference like this, right? And this is why we can go to employee get name and print the name of the employee. I just want to make sure that you are pretty clear regarding all the objects involved in this interaction, and each method has access to a specific object. And just remember, anytime you need access to an object, you can pass a reference to it. References to object, as you can see, can be very easily duplicated. So we have many references to different objects in different methods. There is only one static method in the entire application. It's the main method. Everything else is non-static, except this constant integer, which is static because it's constant. It doesn't have to change. It's just initialized once, and it continues to be the same through the lifetime of the entire application. Right? So just a quick overview of this entire interaction here and what's involved.